welcome to Tabor Talk. So let me see if I could redeem myself. Earlier I posted two videos, two kind of silly videos. I one on Ben Affleck, and then another one, a real stupid thing on Joey Diaz where he exposed himself, and a lot of people didn't like it. I don't know. I thought people would love it or whatever. It's just a little levity in times of crisis. Okay, so down to serious business here. So this video is all around. I'm going to play a clip here, actually from Brian Tyler Cohen's show, but that mayor from Las Vegas, what's her name here? I wrote it down. Mayor Carolyn Goodman, who is pushing for Las Vegas to reopen during this coronavirus, and it's such a bunch of bullshit. I'll show you this. Actually, the first clip is with it's from the interview with Anderson Cooper, and she's kind of like saying, "Hey, let the free market, the invisible free market hand, and it'll work itself out. Like if people start dying and succumbing to disease, well, let the free market do its magic." It's fucking preposterous. Watch.
I mean, you're talking about encouraging hundreds of thousands of people to come to Las Vegas. I get the financial losses people are suffering, which is awful, but you're encouraging, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people coming there in casinos, smoking, drinking, touching slot machines, breathing circulated air, and then returning home to states around America and countries around the world. Doesn't that sound like a virus petri dish? I mean, how is that safe?
You know what it sounds like? You're being an alarmist.
If you can't figure out how to do this safely, why, as mayor of a city that you are responsible for the people's safety, are you calling for something that you have no plan for how it would be done safely?
I am not a private owner. That's the competition in this country.
You said in another interview, you said, quote, "Let the businesses open. Competition will destroy that business if, in fact, they become evident they have a disease, they're closed down."
Oh, yeah.
It's that simple.
Yes.
Do you stand by that? Because it would take weeks, as I think you probably know, before anyone realized a place was a epicenter of viral infection. I mean, that it would take weeks for that would actually to show up. You're comfortable with that?
You're a very good interviewer. I've watched you for years, and you're wonderful. And I'm not going down that road. I am sticking with what I'm asking for. Please, our governor.
I'm focused on what you're saying, Madam Mayor, and what you're saying doesn't make sense.
You're trying to get me to say something. No, that's your opinion of what you think I'm saying, and I am being very clear. Okay. I think our governor has a great and a difficult job.
But you're saying competition. You want it to be like the free market. Everybody gets to go into these restaurants, and if it becomes a center for viral infection, that the markets will decide?
Anderson, nope, we weren't broken.
That's what you said.
We weren't broken when we were closed down. And
you
yet
stand
all
by
of
what
us,
you said.
I think I had it.
You said let the businesses open. Competition will destroy that business if in fact, they get evidence they have a disease there. So that should happen.
Every one of those lives is a tragic loss. But when you count 150 versus 2.3 million, you have to say, we have to open up. We have to go back. Our bus drivers, our
But hasn't it been
cleaners,
because of social
restaurants.
distancing that the numbers have been what they are?
How do you know until we have a control group? We offer to be a control group. Anybody who knows anything about statistics knows that, for instance, you have a vaccine.
You're offering the citizens of Las Vegas to be a control group to see if your theory on social distancing works or doesn't work.
Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Don't put words in my mouth.
You just said we'll be a control group.
Excuse me. What I said was, I offered to be a control group, and I was told by our statistician, you can't do that because people from all parts of Southern Nevada come in to work in the city. And I said, oh, that's too bad, because I know when you have a disease, you have a placebo that gets the water and the sugar, and then you get those that actually get the shot. We would love to be that placebo side so you have something to measure against. So all the data until
you want to get the placebo. You don't want to get the actual. Well, no, the group who gets the placebo, by the way, usually gets the short end of the stick.
Well, you don't know. How do you know when you're in part of that group? You are.
Mayor, if casinos reopen, are you going to be inside those casinos every single night putting your own life on the line?
I have lived in this town for 56 years.
Are you going to go to the casinos every night and put your life on the line like all the workers you say you were there holding their hands?
So they don't need it. We weren't broken. We tragically have 150 people we lost. Tragic. We have 2.3 million people here.
I haven't heard you say yes, that you would be sitting on those casino floors every night along with the people that you say you are holding their hands with.
What is the purpose of that? First of all, I have a family.
Because it would be putting your money, it would be putting money where your mouth is. Just let the business open. If it becomes a vector for viral infection and those people go back to their states and around the world, so be it.
It's a responsibility of each one of us as a human being and part of the civilized world to know when we're sick.
This is independent Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman calling for her city to be completely reopened, despite the fact that she has no plan in place whatsoever to ensure that that reopening would be done safely. It is an interview that left CNN's Anderson Cooper frustrated and perplexed and visibly upset. Although, to be honest, if Las Vegas was an interview, this would be it. She reiterates this point to Anderson Cooper that all businesses should just open up and let the invisible hand of the marketplace do its job. That if something goes wrong, just to allow competition to destroy that business. But this isn't just advocating for good old capitalism and letting the market work. This is allowing for these businesses to act as a petri dish for a deadly virus to spread to unknowing employees and customers, who will then bring it home to their friends and families, a number of whom can die. In other words, what happens in Vegas doesn't actually stay in Vegas. So no, this isn't the free market at work. This isn't the difference between a restaurant being good enough to stay open. It's the difference between the customers of that restaurant living or dying. And I think that the mayor of Las Vegas has a fundamental misunderstanding of her job if she thinks that her role is to put people in immediate danger during a global pandemic. It's not. It is first and foremost to make sure that people stay safe. And right now, the only way to do that is to stay inside. Goodman goes on to say that as human beings, we have a responsibility to just know when we're sick. Only the reason that this virus is so dangerous is because people don't know if they're asymptomatic. Couple that with the fact that we are woefully under-testing in this country, and it is a recipe for disaster. That is why our curve is still spiking. That is why our deaths are still surging. That is why our cases are still rising. So unless someone is capable of sensing molecular irregularities in their body without a diagnostic test, then I'm not exactly sure how Mayor Goodman expects people to be responsible and know when they're sick, when the whole danger of this virus is that people don't know when they're sick. By the way, it's pretty telling that Mayor Goodman refuses to say that she'll be on the floor of these casinos because, and I quote, she has a family. In other words, it seems to me like she's well aware of the risks that doing such a thing poses, but that we couldn't possibly expect her family to suffer from it. It's almost like the people who are calling the loudest for work to begin are also the least willing to directly participate in that same work. Consider too that the newest polls show that only 14% of respondents believe that America should ease social distancing restrictions to restart the economy, while a staggering 76% said Americans should continue social distancing for as long as necessary. So while it's all well and good that Goodman is willing to send everyone else into the dangers of a global pandemic, the fact that she isn't willing to join them because she has a family kinda tells you everything you need to know. But the craziest part, bar none, is that Mayor Goodman apparently unilaterally volunteered her city to be the control group, referring to the group in clinical trials that gets no medicine and takes no safety measures and carries on normally. Also that epidemiologists can compare that group to groups that actually do take steps to protect themselves. And I'm just gonna go out on a limb and assume that the people who she represents might not be over the moon about being declared the guinea pigs who get the privilege of being sent into slaughter because God forbid tourists can't watch the water show at the Bellagio. Here's the thing too, there is no tourism right now. And the reason for that is because the curve isn't flattened. And the reason the curve isn't flattened is because people like Mayor Goodman are still out there advocating for people to go outside. And so we are stuck in this vicious cycle wherein the people most concerned with getting the economy back opened are actually ensuring that it stays closed. If this woman could just for a moment act like an actual leader instead of a hedge fund manager, she might realize that the way to reopen the economy fast is to all work together, to advocate for strong, strict mitigation measures so that we can finally flatten the curve and actually go back to normal. It always, miraculously, seems to be the people screaming the loudest to open the economy who are making it the most difficult to do so. So if the people of Las Vegas truly want to go back to work, I'd recommend staying inside so that we stop prolonging the duration of a lethal virus. And maybe in 2023, consider voting for a mayor who values your safety over money.
Okay, there you have it. Thank you, Brian Tyler Cohen. Yeah, it's just preposterous. The way this is being handled, the people on the right. I was having a discussion with my wife. I'm like, yeah, this is a huge problem with everyone being out of work. It's a huge problem, but man, you got to do the right thing first. All right, let's contain the virus, level it out, and then we'll start easing our way back to normal, hopefully. So there you go. On that note, good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. I'm looking at the image here. You can see the back here, still in my basement. Okay,